Hi everyone, it's a chilly day in Central Texas today, so I apologize for that background noise, but that's my heat pump that you hear going. I'll try and talk loud. I had to drive back from Houston today, and that's about a 3-hour drive for me. So I'm going to take a little bit of help from the frozen food section and do a little cheat meal by getting some help from Mrs. T. That's Mrs. T's pierogies, that is. We're going to cook these up together with some Polish sausage, so let's get started. Okay, that heater finally turned off, so it's a little bit quieter in here. I've got some water boiling over here to boil up those pierogi, and then we're going to caramelize some onions and fry them together with that. But first we're going to cook up some Polish sausage. Today we've got some Polish kielbasa. I'm just going to get this all cut up. I'm cutting it on a bias, and I'm going to get it in the pan to sear it off. All right, that's all cut up, so let's get it in the pan. We're gonna fry this up and then remove it from the pan and then caramelize our onions in the same pan. Okay, before I put the sausage in, I heated my pan up with a little bit of olive oil so it wouldn't stick. We're going to cook this on one side until we get a nice beautiful caramelization, and then we'll flip them over, but we're not gonna mess them, we're not gonna move it around, and I have my pan on about medium high. Alright, I turned my heat down, and I can tell by the way they sound that they are ready for a flip, and they are. That's beautiful. That's exactly how I want them to look. Let's get these all flipped over, cook them on the other side. Right, while the sausage are cooking, we're going to chop up an onion to get it caramelized. We're just cutting our onion into strips today, and then we're going to get it in the same pan that we cooked that sausage in. Alright, this sausage is done and it looks beautiful. I'm going to throw it in this pan and just toss it in the oven on low just to keep it warm while I caramelize the onions and the pierogi. Get a generous amount of butter in that pan. That's about 3/4 of a stick. Get that going. Alright, that butter's going. We're going to get the onions in the pan. I have the pan on about medium-high heat. I want the onions to caramelize, not burn, so I don't want to cook them over really high heat. All right, we want to get these onions all coated in the butter and the drippings from the sausage that are already in the pan. And let these cook until they're beautiful, soft, and caramel colored looking. The vegetable today, we're just going to sear up some Brussels sprouts on the cast iron skillet. I'm going to get these all trimmed up and cut in half and get them seasoned and put them in the pan. For Brussels sprouts, you just want to trim off that hard end, and then what I do is I just kind of toss them around after I cut them in half, which loosens up those top leaves. And then we can get these seared off. Alright, I coated these in some olive oil and then seasoned them with salt, pepper, paprika, and some onion powder. I didn't use any garlic powder because I'm going to put some fresh garlic in here. Now y'all know that I don't like chunks of garlic in my food, so I pasted up about 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to throw that in there and mix this all around. Get those all coated real nice. If you don't know how to do the garlic paste, you can go back and look at my video a couple of videos back where I did a tutorial on how to do that. I want to turn these all cut side down so that flat side gets nice and brown. These onions are caramelizing nicely, and I'm going to go ahead and lower the heat on these because I'm going to finish this all off with the pierogi in here after they finish boiling, and it looks like our water is boiling. So let's get some salt in there and toss in our pierogi. Pierogi are in, my onions are getting nicely caramelized, and these Brussels sprouts have got a nice little brown going on them. So what I like to do for these now that they're browned is add a little bit of water, just a touch of water, and then throw a lid on it so they'll steam. Okay, my onions caramelized beautifully. I've got another half a stick of butter in there because why not? So we're going to drain the pierogi and get it in that pan. Holy moly, do these look beautiful in that brown butter. These aren't my homemade pierogi that my grandmother taught me to make, but I'll take a frozen pierogi over no pierogi any day. Let's get these out of the pan and serve them up. Wow, will you look at that? Does that not look delicious? I don't think anybody's gonna complain that this was a cheat meal tonight. This looks so good. So that's it for this Sunday night. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my Houston Texans. Way to go, Texans. Everybody have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.